You are with Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez, Medical Director of BioCare Hospital. And I'm very happy to be with you, and I'm very happy to share these moments with you. I really appreciate you listening to these podcasts because I think they have information. Allow me to say it. I think they have information that's important and information that can change your life and the life of those around you for the better. And not everything means a lot of expense or effort or suffering. A lot of it is actually just going in the right direction, just being more obedient with all the rules that we were given to live, because that's what's going to assure us that we're going to have a long and healthy life. Because if you ask people, you want to live a long life, everybody is going to say yes, but provided I'm going to be in good health. In other words, I don't want to have a long life with living assistance of all sorts of machines and tubes and IVs, etc. No, I want to live a long life healthy. I want to be able to perform, to do things I like, to travel, to enjoy my family, to enjoy my garden, my life, etc., my city, my town, my neighborhood. That's what I like to do. And if I cannot do that, well, I don't think it's a lot of use to be in a hospital room with all sorts of tubes and sedatives and pharmaceuticals and nausea and pain. I don't think nobody is really interested in that. We want to have a long life. And we want to have a very healthy life. And that's what we talk about on these podcasts. So not only I appreciate you being with me today, but I would also love to see that you share this information with other people. Because the more we know about all of this, the better off we all are going to be. And the same way you want to be with a long life and a healthy life, I think all would love to see those people around you healthy and happy and sharing and being able to enjoy. It doesn't do too much good either if you're going to be all vibrant and strong, surrounded by sick people. No, we want to be all in the same wavelength. We want to be all doing about the same thing and enjoy each other and enjoy our life. That is the end of it. Every time I think what is the ultimate goal in your life, I think it's enjoy your life and enjoy everybody around you. Because that is what really happiness is. Well-being and wellness and sharing. That to me is the ultimate goal in life. But as a doctor, you get to see the other side of the coin. You get to see the part that we don't like too much, and the part that we don't even like to talk about very much, which is the time when you're sick. As I do usually, let me tell you a little anecdote, a little something that happened today. I met a beautiful family, father, mother, stepson, and just a nice family. You see them and you love them instantly. But then you find out that the mother of all these kids, the wife of this wonderful man, well, she comes to you because she has cancer. And when you hear the word cancer associated to a young person, you know that to begin with is not very good news, because cancer cells are your very own cells, and the younger, the stronger, the more stamina you have, the stronger the cancer cells are going to be. So you know that cancer in a younger person, it's twice or three times as much of a problem. So you don't like that. And then you start seeing the whole thing, and you can only feel a little bit of dismay, because you say, this family should really be enjoying, should be on a vacation. They shouldn't have to be in a hospital. They don't have to be talking to me as a doctor. They could be talking to me as a friend, which is what I try to do in these podcasts. Try to talk to people as a friend, not as a doctor. Because believe me, that in many cases is not the best position to be in. Well, anyway, we examined her case, we started a therapy, we're going to see how things turn, and I was telling them I pray every day for good judgment, because I don't have all the truth. But good judgment, that's something that God can provide, and I'm hoping that He will guide me to do the best for these people. But I know what I can do. What I can truly do is make sure many of these people will not end up in a hospital, will not be sick, will not be suffering of any ailment. You say, can you do that? Can you truly do that? Isn't this an exaggeration? Well, let me tell you, 100% sure of every word that I could help America to be healthier with just one act, which is going to cost you nothing. I'm not going to request a budget. I'm not going to request money from anything. I don't even have to go to any government institution for that. I don't have to go to any medical institution for that. I could change Americans' health with just one fact. If I could control refined sugar. That's all. If we diminish the consumption of refined sugar, the health of America is going to improve and improve and improve. Can you see that? I don't need money, I don't need budget, I don't need anything. I don't even need regulations because I don't believe in regulations. I don't believe in the fact that I can tell as a government agency, it's forbidden to take any sugar. It's forbidden to buy sugar. It's forbidden. That doesn't work. We have seen it with the illicit drugs, with cocaine, with the new threats of fentanyl and all these terrible drugs that are killing people. You have the whole police force, the army, the border control, the homeland security, everything after all these people. Have we been able to curb it? No. Consumption is on the rise. A lot more people are consuming all these drugs. So it's not a matter of a law, it's not a matter of regulation, it's not a matter of enforcement. That's why I'm asking you to listen. It is a matter of education and self-control. Period. All we have to do is think on how damaging sugar can be on your life. How damaging it can be for your children, those that you love the most. You're hurting them every day. You're damaging them. You're damaging our school children. You're damaging our friends. You're damaging your family. Every time you put refined sugar on your table, every time you use sugar as a gift, every time you use sugar as a compensation for something. And think of that. How many times this week have you offered sugar for comfort? Or how many times you have indulged in sugar? For what? And it's not just a conversation. It's not a conversation piece. It's unfortunately, is a truth that has a lot of scientific support. I cannot understand why we haven't done a lot more effort to control our sugar consumption. But America has to be at the forefront of sugar consumption per capita. Americans eat more sugar than most people in the world. And America is suffering from chronic inflammatory degenerative diseases that find their origin in sugar consumption, that can blame sugar as the culprit of all these maladies. And all it takes is education, a little bit of intelligence, and self-control. No, I don't want the police to knock on my door and search on my pantry and say, I know you're hiding sugar. No, I don't believe in that. I think that we all were born free and we're given the possibility of selecting, of choosing that what we want to our life. That's what we want to bring to our world. Be good or be bad. That's why we have so many drug addicts or alcoholics or smokers, because they chose the wrong substance to support what they think is their well-being. It's as simple as that. If you think consuming drugs or alcohol or tobacco is a good thing, you have to pay the price. If you think the good thing is clean water, clean air, relaxed, healthy living, good food, good amounts of food, no more than that, physical activity, exercise, laughter, and enjoyment, that's what you're going to collect at the end of the line. So I want you to follow this information very closely. Because if I cannot change Americans' health, I know I can change yours. Stay with me. Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez, Medical Director of BioCare Hospital. That's who you're listening to. And I'm very happy to be with you, and I'm very happy that you're listening, and I'm hoping that you not only listen, but you share the word. And I'm talking about something that I truly believe, that I can substantiate, that I have a lot of information, of fundamental information that can attest to what I'm saying. I could change America's health for the better with only one stroke. Cut on refined sugar. You know, when you read the book, and I'm sure that all of you have, when you read it, you're going to see that we were given free will. And that free will allows us to choose. We were not given a path. We were not given just a certain way of living. We were not treated as cattle. We were given free will to choose. And that choice allows us to go in the right direction or in the wrong direction, unfortunately. So it takes to gather our faith, to gather our knowledge, to gather our education, to make smart choices, to make better choices, to make healthy choices. Because the same way we can choose for broccoli or Brussels sprouts, we could choose for bad fats or refined sugar. So what we have to do is we have to open our book and review that free will and what that free will gives us, and how being given the free will to choose, we have to be very careful, very responsible to use that possibility, that capacity in the best possible way. Sugar is not just a substance that doesn't produce anything. I wish it did. Let me go back many years ago. I was talking to a lady friend, a lady doctor, friend of mine, who told me a lot of the things that I know today and guided me into wholesome, integrative medicine. She was a very good doctor. And she had all this knowledge, all this wisdom about many things. And I made a comment, which at that point I thought it was true. I said, oh, the problem with sugar is you're only getting empty calories. And then she told me, I wish you were right, but no. When you get sugar, not only you're just having calories without any nutritional value, but you're getting a poison. You're damaging your body. You're producing a lot of harm. But today, let me give you a couple of facts. 7 out of 10 people are going to die of a chronic inflammatory disease. 7 out of 10. And I'm going to tell you a few diseases and you're going to say, oh yeah, I'm afraid of that. Oh yeah, I'm afraid of the other. Oh yes, I'm afraid. Okay? Let me give you. I could begin with heart disease. Number 1 killer in America. I could follow with cancer. 2nd cause of death in America. Then I would go with vascular disease. What's vascular disease? Well, that's thrombosis. That's infarction. That is strokes. You follow me? Are you afraid of all of them I have said? That's because of high blood pressure. The silent killer. By the time you find out, many times it's too late. There's nothing you can do against it. That's because, of course, of diabetes, of obesity, of overweight, of Alzheimer's, which used to be 50 years ago a medical curiosity, Alzheimer's, and today is the 6th cause of death in America. What's happening? What's happening is that we're dying of diseases that are very associated to one common cause: chronic inflammation. Inflammation is a mechanism of defense. The body needs it to survive. But when we produce a chronic source of inflammation, so we produce all these abnormal substances, our bodies are going to suffer. Our bodies are going to be damaged. And gradually, that's going to take us to disease. What happens in our body? What happens in our body is that we take a drug, let me call it that way, we take refined sugar. And the big problem with refined sugar is that, like any of these substances, we love it. It's very palatable. We enjoy it. We have a lot of well-being because sugar is associated to the same centers in the brain that are associated with other substances like cocaine. When we take sugar, we produce several chemical substances in the brain that makes us feel good, makes us feel well, makes us feel enjoyment. So we go back for more. And one of those substances is dopamine. Dopamine is, we could say, one of the happiness hormones. Every time we release dopamine in our bloodstream, we feel happy, we feel positive, we feel optimistic, etc. So it's a good feeling. So we go back for more. Our problem is that sugar is going to be available throughout the day and throughout the night. We never stop. We don't have that feel good, forget about it. No, we want more and more. And we have a candy, and we have a snack, and we have a sugar beverage, and we have a coffee with this, and then we have many coffees today are a real bomb against your body. They're loaded with sugar. And then we have a piece of cake, and then we have this. We have sugar all day long. And what happens is that all that sugar cannot really be handled by the body because it comes in unnatural amounts. No one eats that much sugar in nature because we have already refined it. Let's go to sugarcane, the mere source of sugar. You say, well, what if I just eat the sugarcane? Sure, go ahead. You know how many sugar canes you have to eat before you get 1 ounce of sugar? By then you're tired of chewing, of eating. By the time you reach 1 ounce, you are already having a lot of problems. But when you have refined sugar, you can go very fast. How fast? Well, it is considered that most children between the ages of 4 and 8, toddlers, it's considered that between 4 and 8, children in America can eat 50 pounds per year of sugar. 50 pounds. Many of these children are not even 50 pounds. So they're eating their body weight in sugar every year. What's going to happen? What's happened is that all that sugar in the body has nowhere to go. And then the body shuts insulin reception. Insulin is there to push the sugar into the cell. But there's so much sugar that the cell says, enough, I don't want more. So it blocks insulin. And when insulin is blocked, the sugar levels start going up in the blood, and the brain says, oh, we have a lot of sugar, get a lot more insulin. So we produce more insulin. And in time, our pancreas is fatigued. He cannot put up with all the work. He cannot put up with all the amount of insulin that's being demanded. And the insulin isn't working anyway because the cells are shutting it down. So sugar goes up, the pancreas gets exhausted, finally gives up, you become diabetic, and in the meantime, all that excess sugar has to go somewhere. So the liver takes it, puts it in the liver in the first place, creates a fatty liver because sugars are turned into fats, and then that fat is sent to all the fat in the body. So all of a sudden, you're obese, you're overweight, you're diabetic, you have a fatty liver, you are sick. You have a full-blown metabolic syndrome. But did you follow the chain? The excess amount of sugar took us there because we ate a lot of sugar very frequently, day in, day out, and through the night and any time. It is a very simple sequence. Too much sugar, sugar in the blood goes up, we block insulin, insulin starts working more and more until it gets exhausted, and then we develop all these diseases. It's very simple. Think of it. Think of it because I'm coming back with you to give you a lot more information. Friends, I'm Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez, Medical Director of BioCare Hospital. And we're talking about sugar. Couldn't be simpler than that. But sugar as the culprit of most chronic degenerative diseases in America that are killing 7 out of every 10 people. And I'm saying without any hesitation that if we started to eat the right amount of sugar, if we made away with added sugar, if we made away with sugary drinks, if we got sugar out of the table, and we ate just naturally sweet things, but no sugar added, America would be a lot healthier just by that. And I'm saying that I don't believe in regulations. I actually hate many of those. I mean, I don't want you to come and tell me what I can eat and what I cannot eat, because God gave me a free will. I can make my own choices. So why are you going to tell me what to do and what to do? And second, because it doesn't work. Illicit drugs are on the rise. We haven't been able to get out pot or cocaine or any of these garbage that people get into their bodies. And we have the whole army, the National Guard, the Home Security Department, everybody fighting and controlling the borders and controlling production and making deals with countries. So all these things do not come to America, yet we're using them. I can go to the street and buy them. So it means those regulations do not work. What would really work is a simple no. No, I'm not going to consume it. I'm not going to do this. And that's what I think we have to do with sugar. We have to teach our people. We have to teach our children. We have to begin by ourselves to understand that sugar is killing us. That all we have to do is say no. I'm not going to spend any money. I'm not going to use any weapons. I'm not going to use any enforcement. I'm not going to knock on your door to make sure your pantry is free of sugar. No, I'm all asking you to do is think of how much damage that little candy is doing to you and how much damage you're doing to your children when you give them a refined sugar cake, a refined sugar ice cream, a refined sugar soda pop, a refined sugar reward. Because we use sugar to reward children. So we teach them. It is our fault. We were created in perfection. Our children were created in perfection. But then we teach them the wrong habits. We don't teach them what they should know. And what I say is that if I were given the free will to have bad choices or healthy choices, I have to encourage people around me to make healthy choices, and I have to start by doing them myself. And I'm going to notice in a very short time that I'm beginning to feel better. Why? Because I have already told you, if you have sugar for breakfast, sugar at mid-morning, sugar for lunch, sugar in the mid-afternoon, sugar in the evening, sugar at midnight because you're watching TV with ice cream, then you're overwhelming your body with amounts of sugar nature never considered to be normal. We're eating 100 times the amount of sugar we should be eating. And what happens is when that sugar reaches the blood, there's a moment where your own cells are going to say, I can't do it anymore. And the only way you can block sugar from entering the cell is by blocking insulin. Because insulin allows the sugar to go inside each and every cell. Well, I'm going to block insulin, period. I had it. I'm up to here of sugar. So insulin is not any way useful. And we say that we created insulin resistance. That's the medical word. And that means that the cells will not respond to insulin anymore. And when insulin is not working right, the sugar level is going to go up. The brain is going to detect the abnormal sugar levels in the blood, and is going to push the pancreas to make more and more insulin until it is completely exhausted. It cannot work anymore. And then we go from a blockage because of insulin resistance to a no insulin production. And then you have diabetes type 2. And then you have all sorts of complications. Because insulin not only does that, not only works on carbohydrates, insulin is a very important part of our growth and development. Growth and protein synthesis is managed in a big part by insulin. No insulin, no growth. And you can see it with diabetic people. They start losing weight. They start losing muscle mass. They start losing a lot of things. And of course, they drop in a chronic inflammatory condition. And then that sugar that cannot go anywhere, then is going to be taken by the liver that has to put up with a lot of the bad things we do. If we take a toxic, the liver has to put up with it. If we smoke, the liver has to do not only the lungs, but the liver has a lot to do with it. If we drink alcohol, of course, the poor liver is going to have to handle the thing. If you eat a lot of fat or bad foods, your liver is going to have to do it. So your liver starts getting fat, and then we get a fatty liver. That with time is going to take you to liver deficiency in its function. And anyway, you start getting more and more sugar, so that sugar has to go somewhere. It's going to turn into fat, and then it goes to your belly, to your everywhere. And then we become fat, and we have a full-blown metabolic syndrome. So you see it, and once you get to that point, your heart starts to fail, circulation of the blood starts to fail, we get vascular disease, heart disease, diabetes, overweight, etc. But not only that, the problem is that when we develop that sort of a condition, that chronic inflammation produces an environment where cancer can grow. Because chronic inflammation diminishes the ability of the body to defend itself from cancer cells. We all make cancer cells every day, but we get rid of them. Our body is very, very wise, very smart. If it detects a cancer cell, that cell is going to be destroyed. We have our own immune surveillance, and those are looking for cancer cells. But when we have a condition of chronic inflammation, that surveillance goes down, and cancer can develop. So the deadly disease of our time, which are self-inflicted, can begin just by the use of sugar. I don't know how many of you remember the work of Dr. Robert Atkins. Dr. Robert Atkins, he was the creator of something that was called the Atkins diet, and he talked a lot about nutrition and so forth. The man was very good. He was very advanced for his time. He saw a lot of things, and he always talked about something that's called the French paradox. What is the French paradox? He said that people in France eat 3 times the amount of fat that Americans. 3 times more fat in France than in America. But Americans have 3 times the amount of heart disease that French. So it seems like a paradox. They eat a lot of fat, they eat less fat, but the people that eat less fat are sicker. What is the answer? Sugar. Americans eat more than 3 times the amount of sugar that French eat. Actually, America eats a lot more sugar than many people around. I'm going to give you a clue. We're talking about 50 pounds of sugar. Well, if you just have 1 soda pop a day, 1, at the end of the year, you already consume 50 pounds of sugar. If you have 1 donut a day. So if every day you have a donut, a sugar bar, anything, a lollipop, and by the end of the year, you already ate 300 pounds of sugar. Is that normal? It is not. We are killing ourselves. We can improve our health. I want you to think of that. I want you to make a plan. 3 months, 6 months, a year. You can change for life. Good for you. Because I'm going to meet you in a trip, on a cruise line. I'm not going to meet you at the hospital. You're going to be my friend, not my patient. Just do this. Start thinking of how much sugar you can take out of your life, beginning today, beginning tonight, beginning this very same day, and mark it on your calendar, and see how many sugar things you can say no to. No donut, no cake, no sugar bar, no soda pop, no coffee, sugary coffee, no ice cream. See how many of those things you can do. And let's talk in 3 months, and let's talk in 6 months, and let's talk in a year. And you know what? Don't take it from me, take it from everybody around you. People are going to wonder, what are you doing? You look so much better. Because you will. And I still have a few more things to tell you. So stay with me. We're going to talk more. I am Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez, and I really hope, I sincerely hope, that this message that I'm delivering today can move something in your way of thinking. And the premise is very simple. Can I change my health profile in the next few months? Can I change the health of America as a whole in fairly short time? Can I live longer and healthier? For sure. Yes, if I start looking at sugar as a very poor choice talking about health. Sugar was and is very attractive to the brain because we have to think that we come from people that live in the wild, that look for food, that looked for nourishment without any knowledge. I mean, if you go to thousands of years, people didn't have a book, people didn't go to school, people didn't know. Instinctively, they look for things that were good to them. And very deep in the brain, few things made a click. And they told the human brain, when you find this, it's good for you. And one of them was sweets. Why? Because if you were walking in the wild and you took some berries, the sweetness in it let you know that that was nourishment. You didn't know anything about calories, you didn't know anything about energy, you didn't know anything about metabolic cycles, but it tasted good. And that made the brain look for that sensation over and over again. The same happened with fats. Fats were a very rich source of calories with a small amount, in a small pack. So they became also very, very good for our mouths and for our brains. So we could eat a lot of this, and then we had a number of systems within the body that when we ate more calories than what we needed, well, then we had the possibility of storage. Let's put those calories away for times of famine. So this is going to keep us in good shape today, but these so many calories are going to set aside for a rainy day. Well, when is the last time we went through a time of starvation? When is the last time we went for a week without food? We see it, for example, in Katrina. Some people were left completely isolated and they probably were days without any food. But other than that, we always have food available. So we don't have to go through any of that. Number one, we don't have to look for calories wherever they are because we know where they are. They are in the pantry, they're in the fridge, they're in the supermarket. We can go and buy the food every time we need. And then we don't have to store a lot of energy because we actually eat every day. We have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, and you name it. And a lot of things that we can munch on, that we can eat on. But we have taken advantage of that because, of course, it rewards our brain. And we have this excess calorie thing. But not only the calories, it is also the bad side effects of excess sugar that produces chronic inflammation, and with chronic inflammation you have disease. So if we reduce sugar, we reduce chronic inflammation. Now I'm going to tell you something very important, because I have met patients that say, Doctor, but I just can't. I have not been able to jump that. I say I'm going to do it, I understand it, I think of it, but every time I try, something fails. It's like a drug addict. You think all drug addicts are very happy to be drug addicts? Many of them don't want to be. What do? They go to a center, to a detox center, because they need medical help. And there is where BioCare Hospital and Medical Center can help you. We can be behind you. We can help you jumpstart and change forever, to kick out the habit, so to speak. In other words, International BioCare Hospital and Wellness Center has programs for you, where you can come for a week, 10 days, 2 weeks time, and just kick out the habit and change everything. Because once you defeat that craving, and you will, in that short period of time, because not only you're going to be given good food and a good medical evaluation, but you're going to be targeted to certain supplements and amino acids and substances that are going to help you curb all those cravings. So when you go out, you're on your way. And even when you go out, you're going to be on an ongoing program of supplementation and amino acids and things that are going to be backing you up to get the strength, to get the possibility of doing it. This is not alcoholism. You don't need 3-4 months to beat it. You need a couple of weeks. And then you're going to see how things start changing for you. And the more you do it, the more you love it. Because you're going to see how many little aches and pains and discomforts and so forth start going away. Because they're the children of your chronic inflammation. Inflammation is pain. And you're going to see how your intestinal health begins to improve, and how you're not bloated, how you're not constipated. See how your stomach starts working well, and by working well, I mean it is going to start producing all the tiny little essential fatty acids that the bowel can produce to curb our appetite, to curb our craving. Because when we eat well, when we feed our intestinal flora well, when we create a very diverse and useful intestinal flora, we don't need a snack. We will not need any more of those things. And we will not need sugar. And you're going to see how your health, your strength, and everything starts to change. We have oxidative therapies. We have intestinal therapies. We have intestinal flora management. We have anti-inflammatory strategies. We have support therapies, intravenous and oral. And of course, a healthy diet. But with all that around you, with all those supports around you, you're going to see how you start to improve. And when you start to improve, then it's going to become easier and easier and easier to go. And you'll probably be like many of our patients, that all of a sudden they call and they say, Doctor, I'm going back. Yes, but how are you doing? Oh, I'm doing great, but I really feel I need a boost. I have to do it again. I have been going a little bit astray. I want to do it again. I want to make a boost because I feel a lot better, because I'm working longer hours, because I'm enjoying more time, because I did that trip that I want to do without any problem. And you're going to see there's so many things we can offer you. BioCare has the ability to help you change all that. You will never be happier. This is a lot better than taking a cruise ship trip. This is a lot better because you're going to work on yourself. You're going to invest in your own good. And the better off you are, the better you are going to be able to help everybody around you. And you're going to come back home and talk to your children and say, this is what we're going to do. Now I know how. Now I can feel the difference. Now people can tell me, what are you doing? Truly, believe my words. Most of our patients are asked that question. What are you doing? And that's what I want you to do. I want you to get your health back. I want you to be healthy for a long time. I want you to have a long, healthy life just by taking a short vacation at BioCare Hospital and Wellness Center. It can really change your life. Thank you for being with me. Till next time, I'm Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez, Medical Director of BioCare Hospital.